Escaping the 9 to 5 doesn't automatically set you free. And I know this because I've done it twice. And the first time I completely failed. I thought quitting my job would mean freedom, but all I got was chaos, burnout, and eventually crawling back to another 9 to 5. So in this video, I'll show you why escaping once isn't enough and how to do it in a way that actually sticks. Hi, I'm Philip, I run BTNG, where I help brands design systems that actually grow their business. And on this channel, I share the exact frameworks, lessons, and behind the scenes of how I went from stuck in a job I hated to building a creative business that finally gave me the freedom I was looking for. Today, I want to take you through the story of how I escaped the 9 to 5 twice. I'll share what went wrong with my first business, why going back to a regular job wasn't the answer, and how I eventually built a system that worked and why I couldn't have done it alone. Let's start with that very first escape. My first business was a web design company called BTNG. And honestly, I got trapped working for many low-budget clients, endless copy-pasting of WordPress themes, barely making any real money. After years of frustration, we called it quits. And that's when I moved into contracting. And my first big gig was at Media Monks. And it felt like heaven. I was suddenly pulling in the same revenue on my own that used to take a team of 4. After that, I stacked more interim contracts around Amsterdam. But the reality was brutal. 4 hours of commuting every single day, plus everything else going on in my life at the time, I completely burned out. So yes, leaving the agency world to freelance meant I was earning more. But here's the truth, I hadn't escaped. I hadn't found freedom. I was just working myself into the ground in a different way. Next, I want to show you what happened when I tried going back into a regular job and why the so-called safety wasn't safe at all. After burning out, I did what felt safe. I went back into a 9 to 5 as I landed a role as lead designer at a SaaS company. And to be fair, there were things I enjoyed. Being part of a team again and the Friday drinks and also having fun colleagues around me every day. But then came the meetings. Endless meetings. I couldn't care less about half of them. There was so much waste, so much just talking instead of building. Because I knew we could go faster and we could do better. And deep down, I knew I was back in the same trap. Only this time it was dressed up as stability. So if quitting didn't work and going back didn't work, what does? And that's where the second escape comes in. The second time I left the 9 to 5, I knew I had to do things differently. This time, I built BTNG Unlimited, a subscription-based design service. So instead of chasing one-off projects, I created a system. Clients pay a flat monthly fee and I deliver design every 2 to 3 business days. For them, it's predictable value. And for me, it's predictable freedom. No scrambling, no feast or famine, just a steady rhythm that lets me focus on the work and on building my own business. And that's the real difference. Freedom isn't about leaving work behind. It's about designing a system that actually works, so you don't have to hustle yourself into the ground. But even with a system, I realized there was one more piece that makes or breaks your escape. And that's the people around you. I didn't try to do it all in isolation. The first time around, I thought I had it figured out all by myself. And the second time, I leaned on mentors, peers, and eventually built my own free support group for creatives. And that community changed everything. When you're surrounded by people who get it, who are walking the same path, the second guessing and the fear don't pull you back into safety. Your environment decides whether you stay stuck or move forward. And surrounding myself with the right people is one of the main reasons this second escape actually stuck. Which brings us to the biggest lesson I learned after escaping the 9 to 5 twice. Looking back, Escaping the 9 to 5 twice taught me something I wished I'd known earlier. Freedom isn't found in quitting. Freedom is built. The first time I just ran away and it led me straight back to a burnout. The second time I designed a business that funds my life instead of draining it. And that's the shift I want you to take away from this video. Stop planning your escape and start designing your freedom. If this video hits home for you and you're trying to figure out your own escape from the 9 to 5, I'd love to help. I run a free support group community where every month I go live, answer real questions from creatives like you, and share the exact strategies I use with my clients. And you can join today. You'll find a link in the description. And if you need more deeper one-on-one guidance, I also offer mentorship. That's where we take your specific situation and design the system that works for you. Either way, don't just quit your job. Build your freedom. And I'll see you on the other side.